All right, now let's get started. Welcome, Shaterial Starnes, to our Local Wonders series. The Local Wonders series is particularly a way to highlight those wonderful entrepreneurs, startups in the Nashville community that are doing great work, and there are local wonders, and I'm here to highlight them in ways that usually they're not able to. They're not, people don't reach out particularly to highlight what they're doing, their story, their advice, and as well as lessons learned. So I'm so happy to have Miss Shaterial Starnes. um, I can't wait for you all to hear more about her. So, um, go ahead, Shaterial. Tell us a little bit about you, your story, and we can just start there. What is your story? What was the conflict that got you to the point where you're right here, right now with me?
Oh, it's several things. And Erica, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me. I am truly honored to be here. And Erica, you're such a beautiful and amazing person. I just want you to know that I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But I'm Shaterial Starnes. I'm a financial literacy coach, and the name of my company is the Starnes Group. In a nutshell, I am a financial farmer. Yes, a financial farmer. And all I do is I help individuals and business owners plant seeds so they can reap a harvest for generations to come.
Mm,
That's what I do. And if you think of like a house, I'm the foundation, or the service that I offer are the foundation. See, Erica, we can build a house, and we build a house if the structure is not in place.
mm,
Guess what? It's going to collapse. So I
correct.
come in and I help clients. I help them with budgeting, with behaviors
Mm,
that actually, and dealing with root cause issues that causes them to make poor financial choices. See, if we don't get the foundation in place, the house will crumble. And that's what I do. Now I want to take it a step further.
mm,
What brought me here? That's a great question. Two things. I grew up in extreme poverty. I was the eldest child of four, of a single mother, and I was the eldest child. My mom had four children, so I was kind of like a mom to my youngest. I was a mom, I should say, to my younger siblings. So I had a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. But what I said when, and also I have to say this, that when I was younger, we were sometimes either evicted, on the verge of eviction. We rented a lot of things, just a lot of poor financial habits and choices. And Erica, I did not know, I knew that I didn't want that. I may not have known what I wanted or how to go about getting it. I did not want that. Nothing against my mom, because she was doing the best that she could, but
okay.
I wanted a different life. And I'll say this, I made a lot of poor choices, but I was like, I will not continue to pass those poor financial habits along to my future generations. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that my husband had a massive stroke. And at the age of 38, we're a blended family of four. Okay. So I had three teenagers, which were my stepchildren, and an infant. Within a year, we had the flood.
Mm,
3 weeks later, wait a minute. Wait. I'm not done. We had the flood. You remember 2010? That's when it was. 3 weeks later, my husband had a massive stroke and had to learn how to walk and talk again. So we went from two incomes to one. And 7 months later, my mother-in-law, his mom, passed with an aneurysm. Girl, I thought I was about to lose my mind. But when I tell you, Erica, here's the deal. If we had planned from a financial standpoint, it would have softened the blow. He still would have had the stroke, but it would not have had a detriment, or such a detriment, on our family. Okay. So those two things was like an aha moment. And that's what brought me here today. And I know I'm long winded, but I need your audience to know my story, where I came from, and that it doesn't matter what age you are, that you can make changes no matter how small.
well, first of all, let me just clarify that this is about highlighting you. and you sharing you is the meat of what people need to hear, so they can know that no matter what they go through, they can persevere and transcend to the
Absolutely.
next level. So I'm so happy you shared about that. You talked about the Nashville flood. That's something that I'm so happy you brought up, because this is Nashville chapter startup grind, and it affected us. But then
Mhm.
guess what? We had the tornado
Mhm.
recently, right before Corona hit, right?
And we had a tornado then. I don't know if you remember, we had a tornado years ago. So
Yes,
this is
we
not our
did.
first.
We
Yes,
had the flood
yes,
and a tornado right after it.
yes. And then and went through almost the same path. You understand what I'm saying? Go back and look, do your research. It almost went through the same path. So we've had a lot here that's going on. You know what I'm saying? We've had a lot that's going on. But Erica, I do want to just add this very quickly. It's important for me to be transparent, because there's a lot out here on social media and you don't know who's who, what is what, because people can create whatever life or whatever they want to be on social media. And I feel that we get a lot of that on social media and we buy into hype, and it's not reality. People are not having conversations or rich dialogue about entrepreneurship,
Mm.
struggle, the late nights, the sacrifices that you have to make. And we need folks to be transparent and say, hey, this not no game. This is not a game. This is not for someone that the faint at heart. This is real. And it takes a huge commitment. You and I just talked about commitment. It takes a huge commitment.
Yeah, so let's talk more about that. Let's keep that flowing. Tell me more about commitment. Tell me more about how you committed to yourself, and that's how you are here now with the success that you've had.
Well, let me say this. I really struggled with procrastination, but at some point, it was like where the rubber met the road. Am I going to stay the same?
Mm.
Continue doing what I'm doing? Am I going to stay the same? But the pain of staying the same was greater than my changing.
Come on,
And that it's just that
one more
simple.
time. Wait a minute.
Let me back up so
Wait,
I can make sure the people in the back hear it.
go
Make sure the
back.
people in the back hear it. Do I need to throw my
Rewind.
voice like that, like a ventriloquist, so the people in the back can hear it?
Say that one more time now.
The pain of staying in that same place was greater
Come on.
than my willingness or unwillingness to do something different. It's that I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. That's what it was. And when I look at my son, specifically my children and my youngest son, I was like, I got to do something different, because this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm like, what if something happened to me? This was many years ago. When my husband had the stroke, it was like a wake up call. We had small insurance policies, but it was not enough to leave behind like a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Or really hold up our family. You know what I'm saying? We had insurance policies, but it wasn't enough. If that makes sense.
Yes, and that makes sense, because going back to what you said that you do,
Mm-hmm.
this is the tough conversations that you
Yeah.
need to have, people need to have. I was just watching a YouTube special, and it was Do the Right Thing. What's his name? Spike Lee. Spike Lee was
Finally.
talking about how, and he was actually doing the panel about the death of Prince, and how Prince didn't have no life insurance policies, and
He
how
didn't have a will. He
oh
didn't have
sorry,
a
a will.
will.
He didn't have a
He didn't
will.
have a will.
And Spike was like, didn't even know nothing about no will. It was my wife that was smart enough to think about
Yes.
getting that done for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but the thing is, I think we think sometimes we're invincible,
Mm-hmm.
and that we don't think about what's going to happen. Now, going back to the Nashville flood and the tornado, and then also the other tornado we just had recently in Corona, It Nashvillians, y'all Nashvillians, we need to understand that things we get hit twice.
Right.
Okay.
And then we were hit with a pandemic, a tornado, then a pandemic within a week of one another.
So get yourself aligned with someone who's going to
Absolutely.
tell you the truth and help you to see the steps you need to take. But I want to talk about safety. With you being so transparent, people feel safe. Let's talk about that.
In terms of they're feeling safe with me,
Yes.
I think that just how God wired me, people tell me everything. Everything. So I'm a therapist without the degrees and all of that. They tell me everything, but I think that's just how I'm wired. I truly believe that my experiences can be a blessing to other people and them to avoid some of the same mistakes. And listen, I'm not saying that everybody are not your comfort level depends on you. You have to make that decision. But because of my transparency and just who I am, people, the walls come down, because you have to understand I'm a financial coach. People are very uncomfortable with talking about money. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of embarrassment. There's a lot of things that are around that, Erica, and they're not comfortable. So I think my putting my story out there and say, hey, I had bad credit. I used to write bad checks. I've had a repossession. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay. And then the walls, I can literally see it start tumbling down. Because I can relate to them. You see what I'm saying? Or they can relate to me. Like, she's not going to judge me. There's a lot of preconceived notions. So again, the level of transparency that I have, it works well for me and in the space that I am in, which builds trust.
Yes. And so then let's talk about relationship and the importance of having the right relationships for yourself as an entrepreneur, but also what you provide to others.
I think alignment is critical. You have to be aligned with the right people. That's the first and foremost thing. Second, takers do not have boundaries. I'm going to repeat that because I need to hear that as well. Takers do not have boundaries. Okay?
You need to make that a meme.
Yes, they do not have boundaries. And I say that because a lot of times I have family members and friends, and which is one of my workshops. Get your family members and friends out of your pockets. Because a lot of times we're very relational and we equate not telling someone no means that we do not love them. Those are two totally different things. You can love someone and tell them no. In fact, structure is important. Spare the rod, spoil the child. You need structure. Okay. And structure is a way of telling people and setting healthy boundaries that we love them. So I say that all to say is that setting healthy boundaries, aligning yourself with the right people. There are going to be some people, just like God sends people in your life, so does the enemy. So you have to be very discerning. You have to surround yourself with, align yourself and surround yourself with the right people in order for you to go to the next level. And the third thing that I will say about that is you got to work on your mind. Mindset is critical. People will never receive or achieve the level of success they desire in their businesses if they don't deal with their mind. And a lot of times we're dealing with childhood trauma and don't even realize it.
Okay, you coming through.
Hold my mule, because I'm going to preach this thing here.
Look, I'm going to get out your way because you need to come on through with all of that right there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Childhood trauma. There's something that's called ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. And I know you know very well about this, in terms of your background and, you do a lot of research and everything. But I actually incorporate ACEs into my financial literacy classes because childhood trauma, here's the deal. If childhood trauma, a lot of us are dealing with childhood trauma, and because it's not dealt with, it transfers into our adult life. So are you shopping because you're depressed?
Come
Are
on.
you shopping because you're sad? Is it possible that, like someone like myself, you grew up in extreme poverty? So when I start making money, I would just spend it because I never had it. You see what I'm saying? Was there any type of abuse that was going on? Whether it's and never had an opportunity to live out our child, it turns over or it transferred into our adulthood. But ACEs is very powerful. And I see when I'm unpacking things, because that's one thing that's different about my model. I work my clients, you have to go through a financial behaviors analysis because I need to see how you relate to money. What has happened that caused you to be in this situation that you're in? So we unpack that first before we move into anything, your personal credit, budgeting, anything like that. I gotta know how you relate to money.
Very comprehensive. Very. This is stuff that a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll get out here, they think they making some money off of something that they good at. They'll decide, okay, I'm gonna transition that into making money, but they haven't dealt with their their money story and what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because and then you're never going to get where you really want to be with those psychological blocks there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're dealing with all the psychological blocks that's coming up in people financially. But I will have to say that, going back to what I said about safety, this kind of work that you're doing, they have to feel safe with you, right? Like, it's necessary. And so just in the way that you're presenting yourself right now, it's you have it yourself. Like, you own it. You have it inside of you. So no matter where you go, it shows up.
It does. It really does. It does. And then also, Erica, can I say this as well? Sometimes you have to be brave enough, or I wouldn't say brave, have the faith to turn some people away, because everybody's not your client. And that takes faith. Now, please, I don't want anyone to leave here thinking that I'm just like, turning away your breadwinner or quitting your job and things like that. That's not what I'm saying. Definitely have a plan in place. But what I am saying is that I've had to tell people, like, listen, thank you so much for reaching out to me, but I don't think that this is a good fit, blah, 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 blah. And then I will give them resources, oftentimes free resources, because it's not a good fit for me. My mental well-being is more important than any amount of money. And then I realized that I'm not the financial coach that you can come to and just a one-hit wonder. That's just not going to work. In terms of, you come to me, we got work to do. And people that want to do the work, they understand that. But this is a commitment, because it took us some time to get in this mess. You're not going to come to one session or what have you, especially if you're wanting some true transformation. You want a budget, create a budget or something like that. That's one thing. But if you want some true transformation, you're going to have to put some work in. You have to have some skin in the game.
You talking about transforming people, which goes into the idea of being a transformational leader and modeling that. So I know you probably model this as well.
Absolutely.
For your clients, so they see how you move with your money and your alignment. So this is such great information. I just want to reiterate some points that you made. Was takers do not have boundaries. So we have to guard ourselves against them.
Yes.
Everybody is not for you. Every client is not for you. You get to decide who you work with, and
Yes.
it is for your mental health and your
Mhm.
emotional health, because they're
Yes.
going to be difficult. It's not for you to work with them.
That's
It's
right.
for you to refer them. I know that in counseling, it's just it is what it is. If we hit a block with somebody, it's not what we need to keep going. Like it's a waste of their time, and it's a waste of our time to
Absolutely.
keep interacting with them. It doesn't matter the amount of money that they're paying. And then the more that you clear out these people, the ones that are supposed to be there for you.
Exactly. And that's
I'm
why I said it's a faith walk. Because God will send more. He'll bless you abundantly.
Oh yes. So what is some, I know you've been dropping so many things today. But if you had, let's talk about a brand new entrepreneur. What is some advice you would give that person? Then what would you advice you would give one that's been in the game for a little bit, and they're in stage two. They are investing in themselves and those kind of things. So these are advice you would give to these two
Okay.
types of entrepreneurs.
So someone that's just starting out, one, I would ask them to be very clear about what their goals. I would be clear about what they want to do and who is their target audience. Erica, I would say probably the majority of us do not spend time finding out who our audience is, who do, and being clear about what we want as it relates to our business. Those that's some of the first things. The second thing, the next thing I would suggest is that getting your business, setting up your business structure. Do you want to be a sole proprietor? Are you going to be an LLC or S corp? And finding out what the differences are and what works for you. There's a lot of folks, I had a lot of promotion of getting an LLC and getting an LLC. My son's girlfriend called me and said, "Hey, I need to get an LLC." My first question is, why? Why? And because what happens is that people are running out here getting these LLCs and setting up corporations, and then next year you have excise taxes, you have all these different things that are due, and they don't have the money to pay for them. And then they're like, what? Okay, get your then so making sure that your business structure is set up properly for you. You may start out as a sole proprietor and transition into
Yes.
an LLC or what
Yes.
have you. Then do
Yes.
you have make employee identification number, which is assigned by the IRS. It's your business's social security number, making sure that you have a business bank account, that you are not commingling your personal and your business funds, making sure you have your business bank account, and all of these things set up, and also accounting, whether you're using QuickBooks or something like that. Get these things in order first.
First,
First.
going back to what you said about foundation.
Laying your foundation. Those things are going to help you with your foundation. And then the last thing I would tell them is get involved either in groups like Nashville Startup Grind, finding you a mentor to help you start out and get on your way. That's for someone that's a new entrepreneur. Someone that is already in business,
Woo, she
one,
jumping so much information. Y'all
yeah.
listening. I'm sorry. I had to just
No,
stop
no, no,
everything
no,
to
no,
say.
no, 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 no. Not, and also someone that has been in business for a while, we cannot make the assumption that their business structure is set up properly.
You
So
cannot.
business, same things that I just said for the the person that's starting out. Definitely accounting. Also processes, knowing when to automate, when you dividing your time and knowing when to work in the business and on the business and knowing the difference. If you are trying to moving yourself from working in the business to on the business where you are going out and new contracts and things like that, and knowing how to delegate and outsourcing and possibly hiring a virtual assistant and delegating certain tasks that can free up your time. I think, Erica, if the pandemic showed us a lot of different things. But one
It
thing
is.
it did show us as small business owners is that a lot of us had a lot of holes in our
Yes.
business. And ultimately, a lot of us ended up going out of business because we did not know how to pivot. And that the last thing I'm going to say is that you have to invest in your business. And this is for both. At some point, you need to be constantly taking professional development. You need to be reading books, things like, particularly on your mind, more than anything on your mind. But that needs to be a constant, and having somebody to hold you accountable. And I know I said a lot of different things, but that's going to be huge in order for you to be successful or to achieve the level of success that you want to.
You you actually mapped out so much that people have to consider. They have to
Mhm.
take a step back.
Yes.
You're not going to lose anything if take a step back and see what you're doing, because the thing is, people are usually are just for us to have announcements. And please tell us all about what's going on with you, Shaterial, and like, so go back into what you're doing.
So I have to share with you this amazing opportunity that Mashika Turner has offered to me. We are actually have joined forces with Hustle to Business University. It is a private Facebook group. Go and join. So here's the deal, guys. With Hustle to Business University, we've created a safe space for entrepreneurs, new and existing entrepreneurs, where we're providing resources for you and your business. If you are wanting to scale your business and you have no idea how, or if you need just what I talked about, setting up your business structure properly, you need to be a part of Hustle to Business University. So we offer these free resources for free within the private Facebook group. However, we are launching a university where we're going to have subject matter experts come in, and you will have the ability to be able to access classes from mindset to logistics to accounting, able to watch these videos and have all of these resources, a plethora of tools that you need to actually scale your business and again leave behind that generational wealth that we're speaking of. So we will right now come and join Hustle to Business University private Facebook group, and then we will be launching the university and we'll give more details, and it will be a nominal fee for the university, but you have access to all these different classes. So we are super excited about the opportunity. And let me just say, my partner, Mashika Anderson Turner, of Bright Sky Services. She is a CPA, and she does accounting and bookkeeping services. But we formed Hustle to Business together. And come on and join us at Hustle to Business Facebook group.
Okay.
That's what we're working on.
The Hustle to Business Facebook group. So they'll search in Facebook and Hustle to Business. I put it in the chat for people to see. And if they wanted to reach out directly to you, how would they do that?
They can reach me on my website, coachstarnes.com.
Okay.
Or they can contact me at 615-593 2135.
All right.
Yes.
615-593-2135. They can reach you out directly. You know what? That's something that I have to say right now. Most people don't give their phone numbers these days. You notice that?
Yes. Well, I have Calendly links. I have that as well. So I have different ways for people, because we have to be able to connect with people in different ways. Everybody's not on Facebook. Everybody's not on Instagram. So I have to be cognizant of that. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with technology. You know, we might, but that doesn't mean someone else does. So I have a link. I have Facebook. I have Instagram. I have my website. I have different methods so I can reach different people.
Yes, I definitely brought that up because it's not common anymore. When that used to be the way that you would get somebody, it's like there's a fear to call. that's different. I mean, they'll go to their website and they'll send you a message or go to your check you out in places, but won't just pick the phone up and call. And so that goes back to, I think, who you are in that, hey,
Mhm.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes,
Reach out to me. I'm here to accept you. I'm here to learn more about you.
absolutely.
Even if you're not a good fit for me specifically, I even have someone that I can refer you to if we're not a good fit. That is beautiful. And that just goes to more about why I consider you to be a local wonder. Thank you
Thank
so
you. Thank
much,
you.
Shaterial, for coming
I appreciate you.
to for our local wonder series. You all have a good night.
All right. Thank you.